Okay, so well, hi everybody. Apologies about that worried look earlier. I'm working on a issue with a customer client at the moment, so but not now. So today I'm going to chat to you about Power Virtual Agents for Teams. A quick little bit about me. I have been working in the data world since 1999, pretty much specialized in OLAP services in 2000, co-leader of various different user groups, do a lot of speaking on data topics. And that blog pendant is actually incorrect. I do actually have a blog on this topic if you want to find out a bit more information about it afterwards. Just to give you a quick sense of where that blog is. Sorry, I've got too many windows open over here. We have that up in here. If we go to my blog, you can see in here, there's actually one called Speaking at SQL Bits about bots in Teams, Power Virtual Agents. Okay, so there's a talk I delivered at SQL Bits. There's a blog about it up there. Okay, super. Let's get on to it. What do I mean about this? Yet another Power something, all right? Microsoft loved Power. Part of the Power Platform, but with a separate license. We're talking about Power Virtual Agents in here. It's a low-code, no-code environment for development of chatbots that can integrate with websites, apps, Facebook, Cortana, Teams, etc. It's kind of got a price tag on it, $1,000 per 2,000 sessions. However, and specifically why I'm talking about it here in the context of Teams, it's included in Office 365 if you deploy to Teams. So I can take a chatbot, build it, deploy it in Teams, and I don't pay that $1,000 per 2,000 sessions. So in terms of positioning within the Power Platform, you can see in here how it's another aspect of the whole Power Platform. It's got a very tight integration with Power Automate. And this is where it gets really interesting, because what you can do is create a chatbot and integrate it in with Power Automate, and through that achieve automation. Teams automation. My basic theory on this is, as Teams becomes ever more pervasive, so more organizations use Teams, and if you were doing process automation in Power Automate or wish to start doing process automation in Power Automate, you can hook that together inside in a chatbot, okay? And this now allows users to accomplish tasks in their normal work environment of Teams, which to me is a little bit of a holy grail type of potential going on there. Because we're good at automation. I tend to be good at automation, but the question is, can you put the automation into the hands of end users in a safe, consistent manner? And I suppose that's to me where the Teams chatbot environment kind of fits in here. You don't need to use Power Automate for chatbots. Okay, they can be quite simple FAQ-based style chatbots going on there, but a lot of the power really comes out when you embrace that. So let's have a demo. I'm going to introduce you to Grawbot. Okay, Grawbot is my own chatbot that I use on a pretty much daily basis. Okay, so here's Grawbot. I've got a few other bots in here as well, but Grawbot is the one that I use, and I can do various things with Grawbot. Let's just do sorry, I should have typed in start over. But start over is just a command into a chatbot to kind of go give me the kind of intro message in here, right? So I can do various things with Grawbot. One thing that I do on a daily basis is I log my timesheet. So I go log time. All right, and it pops a question, and I'll go for today. And what customer? Well, I'm going to put this one just down as admin work for now, okay? What was I working on? I was working on a talk, user group talk. And how many hours? We'll put it down as 1. Okay. No, nothing more to say about that. And that's logged. Do I want to log any more hours? At the moment, no, I don't. Thank you very much. So I've just had an interaction with a chatbot to log my timesheet. I can also now do this. Or I can say, what did I do today? So that's a question I'm throwing into my chatbot, and it's picked up on that and go, okay, let's check that for you. And it's coming back, you worked a total of 1 hour. The breakdown is as follows. Did I answer my question? Yeah, thanks very much. I can do other things inside in here. If I wanted to, I could do tweet. Okay, what do you want me to tweet? And I'll do my usual robot. And if you wanted to go up and look at my Twitter, you'll find that's going to be posted up my Twitter handle now. Okay, what else can I do in here? Well, I've set it up to process a couple of Power BI models. All right, and it's throwing back a few models that I set up for this one, and I can go in there and go hit sales V1, and that will go away and kick off a process of that in there. I can even do things like add user. Okay, let's go and create a new user. Let's call a user called Teams Nation. What's their surname? I'm just going to go Nation. What will their email be? Let's call for Teams Nation. And that will actually connect onto my Azure Active Directory and create a user account, which actually exists now. Okay, so you're just getting a sense of I'm in a environment in Teams, having a conversation with a chatbot, and I've called 4 or 5 different bits of automation in there, all different things going on in the one environment. Okay, so that's kind of what a chatbot is. And I guess that's where I kind of see maybe the advantages of using it. It can be a nice kind of familiar, comfortable space to work in. Let's see how we can go about building that. Oops, sorry, don't mean to show you that. Apologies, I seem to have lost my PowerPoint. I'll just present it up again. So we've done a demo. We've introduced the bot, tweet and log in timesheets, checking timesheets, process models, create AD users, etc. I now want to talk about how we would go about creating a bot. Okay, so the key thing about a bot is a topic. Okay, all of that automation you saw me doing there was me integrating with topics of conversation. It's like a single unit of automation, a single conversation you would have. But a bot can have multiple topics. As you saw me, I was engaging in different types of topics, checking timesheets, logging timesheets, etc. Having kicked off that conversation, additional user input can be collected by the bot. So you saw me putting in hours, customers, etc., etc. We can have conditional branching based upon user input, and probably most importantly, we can call actions. Okay, and there's 2 types of actions. You can call Power Automate to build the whole thing. Am I still online there? Because I just got a network off message there for a second. Can you all still hear me?
Stutter for just a moment there, but it recovered.
We seem to be back. Great. And then finally, having built your bot, you test and publish. So let's go building a bot. Awesome. So to build a bot in Teams, you go to Teams. Okay, so I'm going to pop into my Teams environment over here. Back into my Teams environment, I'm going to go down to my 3 dots down in here. And inside in here, I see there is a Power Virtual Agents. If you don't see it, you'll have to search for it and install it up as an app. Okay, but I go in here and I've got Power Virtual Agents for Teams installed. Here we go, Power Virtual Agents. So I'm still in my nice, comfortable Teams environment. If I go looking at chatbots, I see that I got a few different bots in here. If I was starting from scratch, I would go a new chatbot. And after a couple of seconds, it will ask me this. And this is one thing to understand when you do it in Teams, you associate a chatbot with a specific team. Okay, so in terms of deployment, you would have to have a thought about, well, who do I want this team to be? Who do I want this chatbot to be available to? Is it the IT department? Is it the whole general company? Is it a finance department? And kind of an association that goes on in there. I generally put it against my reboot, which is my kind of demo environment I do in there. And if I hit on continue, it will start spinning up a bot. I'm not going to hit continue in here just because that spinning up takes about a minute. Okay, and nothing really happens in it. So what I am going to do is just go to one that I spun up earlier that I've done nothing additional on. What will basically happen after you create bot will be in about a minute's time, you'll get into this environment. Okay, so inside in here, the most important part of this is the topics section. All right. And if I go look in a topic section, you can see there's a few topics built in already. Some of them are standard escalation, end of, confirm, goodbye, etc. And then they also have a few demo topics in here as well. Now, what I'm going to try to build for you is what I built for SQL Bits, which is a quiz bot. Okay, so it's going to be something that's going to ask for your gamer name, and it's going to show your recent statistics, and then it's going to do a true false quiz with you. Okay, so ask you questions, throw it back, you put in yes, no, text if you're right or wrong, record your score, see do you get a high score. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to build. So I'm going to go to a new topic because this is a unit of automation now. And when I go into a new topic, you'll always have a trigger phrase at the start, and you have to have at least one trigger phrase. Okay, so I'm just going to be quite boring and just have my trigger phrase is going to be quiz. So when I type in quiz, this topic will initiate. You can have multiple trigger phrases. You just have to maybe think about overlapping trigger phrases between different topics. Okay, so got a trigger phrase in here, and the standard setup is trigger phrase and message. All right, now I'm actually going to delete this because I don't want my first thing to be a message. All right, I want my first thing to be a question. So I'm going to ask a question. All right, and if we look inside in here, because you're in Teams, there's a certain sense of who you are. It knows who this person is already, user display name. All right, so I'm going to go welcome, welcome, and then I'm going to ask a question. What is your gamer name? All right, because when we play games, we give it a cool gamer name. And I've got a choice of what do I do, and I want to gather the user's entire response. Right, and I'm going to put this into a variable, and we'll call this variable gamer name. Okay, so that's that done in there. So I haven't got their gamer name. I'm going to want to check their statistics. Okay, now I have pre-built some stuff behind the scenes in here because I don't want to really show you about how to build Power Automate, but we will flash into it in a while. So I've got some Power Automate jobs that are set up to do certain things for me. I go to my next node and I call an action. Right, so the action I'm going to call, when I click on this, it will spin up a list of my available jobs. And inside in here, I am going to call the get player stats one. Okay, and I have down here SQL quiz get player stats. And this takes as an input the player, which of course now is my variable gamer name. And it returns as an output various things, the user's Go ID, a message, their current streak, their best streak, etc. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to display a message. Because having got that information back, I'm now going to go, right, let's just show this. So I'm going to display a message back. Now that message I'm displaying here is the return variable that came from my Power Automate job. Next, in having displayed a message, I want to generate a question. So I'm going to call another action. This time I'm calling the action SQL bits quiz. There's a level in here which actually I don't use, but it's still a required input. So that calls a job and it returns a question and an answer. So that's actually going to call an API. It uses Power Automate HTTP hook to call an API. I found an API out there that generates questions for you, true false questions. So we'll have a look at that in a bit. So we get that back, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. So the API has generated a question for me, but now I got to display that question to the user. And I am going to capture multiple choices. And the answer back from there is 2 seconds there. I might just go, give me 2 seconds on there now. I am just going to check something in there. Sorry if you heard a bit of background noise. Apologies for the interruption. So I'm set up in here that we have now, I've asked a question, and this is a true false quiz. So it's true or false. So basically I'm just asking the user, well, here's a question, is this going to be true or false? But look what happened underneath. Based upon that, it's actually automatically created a condition for me, right? So if it's true, go down this branch, and if it's false, go down this branch. Now, strange as it may seem, I don't want to use that branch in here. So I'm going to delete that out of in here, okay? And I am going to change my variable, by the way, to something a bit more sensible, such as var user response. Okay, and now I'm going to pass that into another action. And this next action is going to be check answer. Quiz, check answer, making sure I got the right one selected. And this takes a few different things in here. It takes the user's response, which I've gathered. It takes the correct answer, which I had got earlier from when I generated a question. I have to pass in the session ID, user go ID, all right? I have to pass in the current streak, and I have to pass in the gamer name, okay? The reason why I'm doing this as opposed to a true-false branching is this is a quiz then that if you get the answer right, it increments your score in the high scoreboard. So hence I call an action to do all this in there, okay? And I get back out of this a response, I get a message, right? Result, response, the result, and their current streak. So now I'm going to show a message. The message I'm going to show is going to be the result response. Now that result response is actually a yes, no, right? So hanging out of this, I want to add on a condition. And based upon the result, if it's false, so you got the answer, you were incorrect, your answer, I want to show a message. And the message is going to be game over gamer name. Let's go down the other route. So if it wasn't false, obviously it's true, which is covered by the all other conditions response. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is ask a question. All right. The question I want to ask is, do you want to go again? Multiple choice. Sure, I'm happy with that. Let's go yes. Apologies. Let me get rid of this there. Yes. No. Delete. It again has generated the auto condition responses for me. So if it's yes, go one way. If it's no, go the other way. So if it's yes, what I want to do is start again, okay? Now there's a little bit of a small bug that seems to happen in here. So the way I get around it is I show a random message. That means I can drag this point and I can drag this point upwards. So I drag this upwards, 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 and I'm going to drag it up to here because this is the point that generates another question for me. Okay. If they said no, I want to show a message going. Thanks for playing. Okay. Really good time to save. Oh, I've got an error. The reason why I've got an error is, remember that was that little bug thing that I haven't found a way around. So I put on a random message. I also have to remember to delete that random message. Save in topic. Apologies, I got ahead of myself. Delete it. Now save it. Save my topic. That takes a couple of seconds. And now I can test it. Let's put in my gamer name, Mark. And welcome to the Thunderdome. This is your first game. Best of luck. And here's my question. George W. Bush lost a popular vote. I think he did. It's now checking that answer. Swing and a miss. Game over. But you can see over here on the right-hand side how that logic is flowing around the place. Let's try it again. Maybe we'll get the next question correct. Let's go again. Let's go, Mark. It's doing a check on my results. This is my first game. There was a satirical candidate named D's Nuts. I have no idea. If anybody has an answer, let me know. I'm going to try false in here. I'm not very good at my own quizzes. And another swing and a miss. Okay. But what you're seeing over here is how that logic is changing, because the flow it took me down that time was show a message, generate a message, action, question, action down there, message, check the condition. It was false, game me over. I'm going to have one more go in it, see can I get a true answer. Okay, just to show you the other branch. What's my name? Okay, we'll go in for Mark is my name. Checking my stats again. Okay, the ultimate phrase used by Farah from Overwatch is justice ruins from above. All right, I'm going to put this out. Does anybody actually know this answer? Let's check. Anybody knows the answers? Anybody want to take a guess at that one? Justice reigns from above. True, false? Anybody know? Because otherwise I'm just doing another complete random guess. Let's go true this time. I'm bound to get it right one time, okay? Hey, correct. Okay.
I was about to guess that, Mark.
I know. The pressure, I didn't realize this would happen in the demo, okay? You were correct. But you can see what's happened over here is the branching has gone elsewhere now. Okay, over here, this is what's active now. Do you want to go again? Yes, I do, please. Let's go again. And by doing that, it gets the response back and it passes me back up to here onto the question. And dihydrogen monoxide is banned. Oh my God, here's another one. Discovered. I'm going to go, yes, I don't know. All right. So yeah, it's a tough quiz, guys. Swing and a miss. My final streak was 1. All right. It seems though that my logic is holding together. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's all saved. Okay, super. Let's go back. Let's go back to my topics in there now. And I have, oh, my topic was untitled. I should probably change the name of the topic, right? Just to give it something decent in there. I think that's underneath details. Save that off again. Back. So there you go. That's my topic now. That's my quiz topic. It's now part of my bot. So what I got to do next is I've got to publish this. So I hit publish. After a few seconds, it will pop up a message for me. I'm just having a quick look at the chats in there. I see one on. Oh, right, we're here. Okay, so we're in here making your latest content available to end users. Yeah, go on, publish the latest content. Just making sure it's up there. That will pop up now. It's in where I can set the icons and messages and stuff like that. That's fine. It's done. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Let's just press open bot. So now what happens in there when I go to open the bot, it actually needs to add the bot into my team's environment. So we go add. And now I'm over in NationBot. Now I didn't set this default messaging that pops up there, so that's all complete standard messaging. But inside in here now I can go quiz. And I'm back into my bot. And this time, because I managed to get one question right, it's actually remembered my streak and it goes, yeah, your best streak is 1. Okay, and we can continue on. So that's building a bot. I want to show you a little bit about the Power Automate side because it's a question of how the hell does it integrate in with the Power Automate side. Okay, so let's go looking at that. I am going to go to here. Okay, and when you do all of this work, what's actually happening in the background is underneath Common Data Service Catalog solution, you are creating bots, you're creating Power Automate jobs, etc. So I'm actually in Flow in here. I'm on Power Automate at the moment. And inside in Power Automate, I got an environments and I have a reboot environment. It's where I put my demo stuff onto it and I associate that bot with the reboot team. So this is my environment. Inside in the reboot environment, there are a solutions section. When you go into the solutions section, you will see a Common Data Services Catalog section down here. When I go into the Common Data Service Catalog section, I will see this, and you can see chatbots 5. So there's my nation bot that I just created. I can also see flows, and these are all the flows that I was interacting with. And you can see down here, here's my SQL bits ones that I was playing around with. So let's go looking at any one of those, and these are Power Automate jobs. And if I go looking at it, you can see in there how this one was execution away 1 minute ago, 3 minutes ago, etc. And let's look at the edit of this. And this is what makes it work. There is a Power Virtual Agents connector that will go in to Power Automate. The standard one is there's one in and there's one out. So this is the Power Virtual Agent on the way in where I capture the level. And here's the one on the way out, which is the question and the answer. And the bits in the middle are just standard Power Automate work. All right. So I declared two variables. I called this API, which is just an API. I can pop it up there. Bang. There's a question that's come back from this place. All right. I'm capturing API and then parsing the JSON that comes back from there. And out of that JSON, I'm getting the question and the answer. And then I'm returning that back to Power Virtual Agents in the form of here's the question and here's the answer. Okay, that's what makes the integration work between them. If I look at some of the other ones, say get player statistics, I see the exact same pattern in there. When I go and looking at the edit of this, I see Power Virtual Agents input, which is some player who's playing. And then lots of stuff in here to work out the statistics. And then there's a return back. My goal, my message, my current streak, my best streak, etc. If you didn't have a Power Automate job at all and you needed to create it, you could create Power Automate up in Power Automate World and import it into your solution. Or you could go back into here. You can go into Power Virtual Agents. And we'll go back into our Nation bot. Have a look at our topics. I'm going to go back into quiz. And let's just say I want to add in something in here. Okay, call an action. And up here, there is create a flow. Okay, so I could create a flow as opposed to call in a flow. Create a Power Automate. And it pops up in here, some basic templates. So just go for the very basic template, which is this one. You can see how it's basically built, the basic building blocks of here's your input, here's your output. Okay, and then in the middle, you can add on whatever type of Power Automate work you want to do. And then build it up. And when you save that, it will actually end up saving that back up into this location. And I'd see a new Cloudflow 19 appearing in there if I went saving at it. So that's how to build a bot. And that's how to build a bot that can call Power Automate. So let's just check the last couple of slides in here. Just got one or two more to go through, and then we can hopefully take a few questions. Building a bot, so we built a bot. Why? Why would I do this? I like this because it's a single interface, many task situation. Okay, if people are comfortable in teams, then it's not really a big stretch to kind of go, hey, there's this chatbot thing over here that can do stuff for you. Okay, it's a low code, no code environment that we're in there. We know automation saves time and reduces errors. And really what we're talking about here is you could also empower users in a controlled manner, same interface, many tasks. So for example, it might terrify you, the idea that I was able to create an Active Directory user inside of my chatbot. And you might say, I don't want to deploy that to everybody. And you're absolutely right, you shouldn't. You'd have to maybe think about how you would deploy it, or maybe put a bit of even a conditional check to see is this user in such and such profile in Active Directory that allows them to do this in the first place. Okay. It doesn't prevent you from directly running anything. I mean, you still got your Power Automate jobs, so you can still call them whenever way you want, but it consolidates the interface. And you can also deploy bots to other channels if required, but just beware the cost on that one. I kind of like this on a mobile phone. I don't like a lot of tech on a mobile phone, but I kind of like this one because, well, other than because once you're in the chat environment of Teams, it's a very natural experience to have a chat. Sorry, let's look around. I've kind of showed you a little bit about that in there. There is one other one that I think I wanted to show you. If I don't, I might have to pull that up in there, and I see it as a question in there anyway. But that's basically it. That's my bot. That's my session. Sorry about a couple of interruptions in there. Hazard of doing things during the day in my home office. But happy to take questions.
Yeah, great session. Okay, there were a couple of questions. So PVA's multi-language capability, that one always comes up.
So I'm going to answer that with the whole, I assume so. And the reason why I go, I assume so, is when I go along and create a bot, the next question I'm going to be asked in there is, oh, I'm surprised I did that. The next question I'm going to be asked in here, did I misstep there accidentally? Okay, I want to deploy this to, I selected the wrong environment. That's why it was taking longer. That was trying to spin up a whole environment for me. When I go into chatbot, the next question I'm going to get asked is what language? Okay, I haven't explored it beyond that one, so sorry, I can't give you a better answer than that, but you could set it up that your bot will speak certain languages, so I take that. Okay. See another one in there. How would people typically access Start the Bot? It's via Teams, right? You know, it's haven't published that bot. I did have to add it into my Teams environment, so there is a communication that you would need with people to kind of go, hey, there's this bot available that does X, Y, Z for you. If you want to use this, you have to add it into your Teams environment. Here's the link. To click on the link and we'll add it to our Teams environment. Or alternatively, they can go into Teams environment that we have here, click on my dots and go searching. All right. So if I type in Nation in there, it's found the app called NationBot. Okay. If I go looking for ElfBot, which I did for a Christmas talk, you can see ElfBot is in there as well. Okay. So hopefully that takes care of that one. And there was a question, are there restrictions when building it? Yes, there are restrictions. Yes, there are restrictions. I thought I actually had that in my slide deck. Give me 1 second in there and I'm going to pull that up in another slide. And where are my restrictions in here? And let's play this slide. Here are the restrictions, okay? This is when you compare it from a standard subscription to a Teams license version of it, okay? This is the one. The ones in red are probably the big restrictions, okay? You got 10 sessions per user in a 24-hour period, okay? So what constitutes a session? A session is, and I hope I get this right, a single interaction with the chatbot that ends in a successful result, okay? Alternatively, it can be up to 1 hour of interaction, or it can be 100 turns. So 100 turns is a back and forward interaction between the user and the chatbot. And if it gets to 100 turns, it goes, okay, you're now on to a new session. So there are some restrictions, yes. I wouldn't be too concerned about the 10 sessions per user because actually that's quite a lot of interaction. I mean, if you really were deploying this out for general purpose use, then it becomes a numbers game. If you had 20 people in your team, chances are they might only need one bit of automation a day in there anyway, and it's 10 per user, so it should be fine. Maybe of a slightly bigger concern that you'd have to think about is the second one, which is the number of Power Platform requests you can make, and it's 2,024 hours, okay, versus 250,000 in 24 hours when you're under standard subscription, okay? That could be a little bit problematic. If you had a large organization, you're basically kind of going, if you look at my QuizBot, I actually was pretty aggressive on the Power Automate. I think I had 4 or 5 Power Automate calls in there. So single conversation could have 5 calls. Yeah, you have to watch that one. That to me, I think is potentially the larger restriction. The rest of them, I really wouldn't be worried about. Okay, 50 bots per team, that's not really going to be a problem. 250 topics, that's an awful amount of topics. Skills, oh, there's my session. Ends or no message in 30 minutes, greater than 60 minutes, greater than 100 turns. They're the main restrictions that I am aware of in there. For fun, if you want to play that game, by the way, that I created, because it was done for SQL Bits, if you just want to play with it, if you go to website, I have up here BitBot, my SQL Bits quiz game, and you can go in there, and that will actually render up that bot for you, okay? Now, this obviously isn't me deploying it in Teams. I've just enabled the preview version of Power Virtual Agents. It will probably die in 20 days. So I said, because I'm certainly not paying to keep it up on my website, but just for a bit of fun, if you want to play that quiz, there you go. You can go in and play that quiz up on my website, at least for the next 20 to 30 days before I, oh, that one is true, right? So before I have to take that page down. But again, That's just for a bit of fun. Any other questions, guys?
We've got nothing else in the chat at the moment, other than where's the video going to be, which is always a good question.
Yeah.
And I've just put in the databot.ie link for you to that Bitbot, so that people can have a play. I don't think there is anything else showing up, so I'll just pop in. If you could give us some feedback on the session, that lets Mark and the rest of the organisers know what you enjoyed, what you'd like to see more of, and give us some feedback to help make the event even better. Not that we need it, the event's awesome. This was a fantastic presentation. Thank you very much for your time, Mark.
Super. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to be signing out now. I got to go back to solving an API problem with a client.
Well, I hope you have lots of luck solving the problem.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming along and giving us your wisdom. Very much appreciated.
Take care.